Student Office for Accessibility Resources, Accessibility Training Series. PowerPoint Accessibility. This video is going to introduce you to the basics of accessibility in PowerPoint. By no means is this intended as an exhaustive list of accessibility, but it will get you started. In addition, some of the processes can change across platforms and versions. For instance, if you are using a different version of PowerPoint, or if you are using a Mac instead of a Windows computer, the menu options may be slightly different. For questions, please contact the Student Office for Accessibility Resources by calling 864-294-2320 or emailing soar@furman.edu. In this short tutorial, you will see how to create an accessible PowerPoint so that your content can be accessed by viewers with disabilities, such as those who use a screen reader to listen to text as opposed to visually seeing the information. Learning objectives. First, I will show you how to choose and locate an accessible PowerPoint template, and I will explain slide layouts, including the importance of slide titles and other placeholder areas for images, charts, and graphs. Next, I will show you how to add alternative text to images, followed by how to make tables accessible. Next, I will explain the importance and directions of creating accessible hyperlinks and provide helpful tips and reminders about embedded videos. I will also explain the reading order of slide content, and I will show you where you can run the built-in accessibility checker to check your work, as well as the proper way to save a PowerPoint to a PDF that will maintain the accessibility features that you just built in. Let's get started. PowerPoint presentations are widely used, so it is important that you have an understanding of how to create accessible versions so that all users can access and benefit from the content in a meaningful and comprehensible way. The first step to PowerPoint accessibility is choosing a slide theme or template that has both good color contrast and has simple backgrounds for readability purposes. This is important for individuals who are perhaps colorblind, have low vision, and need enlarged text, or perhaps are sensitive to overstimuli. If you have a lot of content on one slide, perhaps consider adding additional slides so as to separate and break apart the information. By default, PowerPoint has a number of built-in templates to choose from. Notice on the Ion template that the maroon text on the purple background would be difficult for some to read. Also notice that the integral template appears rather busy with the repeated symbol in the background. These details can make it more difficult for your audience to view your PowerPoint. There are also a number of templates available for download. You can search for a template by navigating to File and then New. In the search field, simply type in Accessible to launch a search for templates that have been tagged as accessible by the author of the template. Slide layouts. The most important aspect of PowerPoint accessibility is the slide layout. Each template has built-in layouts for a slide that typically include title, text boxes, and an area for images or other graphic information. Slide layouts have a pre-built reading order. It is important that you use these placeholder areas as they were intended, rather than inserting a picture or text box and simply pasting material and dropping it on the slide somewhere free-floating. Instead, go to New Slide and select the appropriate style of slide. For instance, in this demonstration, I need to have a title and an area to place a single image. The title and content slide will work well for my purposes. If I wanted multiple images, I would select To Content from the menu options instead. Notice I have typed text in the slide title field. When changing font color of your text, be sure to choose a color that has a high color contrast. For instance, pale yellow text on a white background would be difficult to read. The best color contrast is black text on a white background. WebAIM.org has a helpful contrast checker tool with explanations of what the standards are for color contrast. Next, I can hover over the icons to select a picture, chart, graph, spreadsheet, or video. In this example, I will put in an image of the Furman University bell tower. Now that I have inserted an image, it is important that I include the alternate text to describe the image. If an image is inserted into a PowerPoint and there's no alternative text included, a screen reader will either skip over the object completely or will simply read something nondescript like image. Any information about the picture would not be conveyed to the user. By definition, alternative text is a written description of the image that is of equivalent meaning and value as the visual picture. When creating alternative text, it is important to only include the relevant information that is included in the picture. For instance, an adequate description for the photograph would be Furman University Bell Tower. Notice that I did not include image of or photo of in the description. This is because a screen reader already announces this information, so to repeat it in the description would be redundant and sound like image of Furman University Bell Tower. Brief descriptions are best. For instance, it would not be appropriate to have the following as alternate text: replica of the 1854 Furman University Bell Tower on a beautiful day surrounded by crepe myrtle trees. White fluffy clouds are dispersed in the sky as visitors walk or bike around the circumference of the bell tower. Waterfowl are known to hang out here, and the lake is home to fish and turtles. This is giving more information than was necessary. If this information were relevant, it should be included in the main body of the PowerPoint and not as the alternative text of the image. To add alternate text to an image, simply right-click on the image, click Edit Alt Text. The Alt Text field will appear to the right of the slide. Do not put anything in the title field if that is an available option in your version of PowerPoint. Instead, leave this area blank. Only put information in the description field. In my version of PowerPoint, these fields do not exist. Instead, I have a text box where I can type the alternate text description. It's important to note that in older versions of PowerPoint, the typical Microsoft Word features such as spell check do not work in these fields, so please make sure to spell and type carefully. Decorative images do not need alternative text if they don't add meaning or value to the document and are merely there for decorative purposes. If that is the case, simply click on Mark as Decorative and a screen reader will skip over this object. It is not recommended to use the Generate a Description for Me option. These descriptions usually do not add value or accuracy. Tables. To create an accessible table, make sure to choose a slide layout that is designed for inserting a table. Next, click on the icon for inserting a table. Next, select the appropriate size of the table. For instance, in this example, we will use a 2x5 cell table. Keep your table simple. Don't split cells. Splitting cells will create an accessibility error when you run the accessibility checker. Once you have created your table, populate it with the information. Next, click inside the table. Make sure to select the top row of the table with your cursor and then select the Design tab under Table Tools. There should be a checkbox to select the header row. If the first column of the table also contains headers for each row, make sure that your cursor is in the first column of the first row and check First Column. This would not be necessary in this particular table as the rows don't need to be headers. Hyperlinks. When including hyperlinks in your PowerPoint, it is important to include context for what the link is and where it will take you. For instance, long URLs with a jumble of letters and numbers are not helpful to someone who is listening to the document text. Neither would it be helpful for the user to hear "click here" numerous times with no indication of where the "here" will take them. Incorrect. Click here to access the Furman University Twitter page. Incorrect. For more information on the latest Furman University Twitter updates, click here. Instead, it is best to remove the "click here" and embed the hyperlink directly into the sentence. For example, for more information about the latest Furman news, please visit the Furman University Twitter page. To add a hyperlink, use the built-in text box in the PowerPoint slide layout. Simply highlight the text that you wish to appear as the link. Once highlighted, right-click and select Link from the menu options. The area that you highlighted should appear in the window that says Text to Display. You would then paste the full URL in the address field and click OK. You have now made a meaningful and accessible hyperlink. What else? If you embedded videos, make sure that these videos are captioned. Rev.com offers competitive pricing for captioning with an easy-to-use site and fast turnaround time. Don't just convey important information in color. Reading order. By default, a screen reader will read the slide title first, and then it will continue to read the rest of the content in the predetermined order of the slide layout. Finally, it will read any additional information that is outside the slide layout in the order it was added to the slide. Thus, when creating a slide, if you add items out of sequential order, it will also read the content out of sequential order. To fix this, you can navigate to Home, Arrange, and then Selection pane. The Selection pane will populate on the right side of your screen. It will show every object in the slide. If you highlight an item in the pane, it will also highlight the fields within the PowerPoint. Please note that the objects at the bottom of the list will actually read first, and items at the top of the list will read last. Think of it similar to a house structure, where you built your foundation first, the bottom layer, and then put the roof on, the top layer. To reorder an item, simply click it and drag it to the desired place. Accessibility Checker. Once you have completed all the steps above, it is now time to check your work. PowerPoint has a built-in accessibility checker. To access this feature, click on File, Check for Issues, and Check Accessibility. PowerPoint will identify any accessibility errors that it encounters when reviewing your document. It will provide you with a report listed as a menu on the right side of your screen and gives you information of how to fix or address any errors that it flagged. As you make corrections, the error or alert will disappear from the report. Congratulations! You have now created an accessible PowerPoint. Please stay tuned for other future training videos. Before I let you go, I wanted to also address how to save the PowerPoint as an accessible PDF so that all of your good accessibility work is maintained when it is moved into a different format. Saving the document as a PDF. Although it is tempting to simply click on File and print to Adobe PDF, this is not the correct way to save your document as a PDF. Doing this will result in loss of some or all of the accessibility formatting that you just prepared. The proper way to save a PowerPoint into PDF is first, save your PowerPoint and give it a meaningful title. Next, select the Acrobat tab from the PowerPoint menu. Click on Create PDF. The Save Adobe PDF File As dialog box will appear. Name the PDF and click Save. The PDF version of your PowerPoint will automatically open in Acrobat. You can also save the PowerPoint to PDF by going to File and Save as Adobe PDF. Another option is to click on File, Save As, and once the dialog box appears to enter a file name, select PDF from the drop-down menu within the Save As type. Finally, if you prefer, you can also save the PowerPoint as a PDF from within Adobe Pro DC itself. Simply open Adobe Acrobat Pro DC, click on File, Create PDF, and PDF from File. Select the PowerPoint file from the list of available file names and click Open. Thanks for joining me. Stay tuned for more future training videos. Until next time.